We got everybody talking about the Johnny Somali updates. It was kind of hard to choose who I was going to watch for the updates, but then MorePegasus released his update video, and I was like, you know what? I'm already gonna do a MorePegasus video. Might as well do Johnny Somali. So here we go. Here's some Johnny Somali updates for you. He just got destroyed in court. Dude, finally we are here. And I think this is gonna probably take a while. I think we got a while before this resolves. Who knows how long? It might be a couple weeks, it might be a month, it might be a year, it might be a couple years. Might be 10, he might be fucked for life. Who knows, man? Who knows? Let's get into it.
Johnny Somali is completely cooked now. He just appeared in court and it went absolutely horrible for him. He's potentially looking at over a decade in prison now.
Whoa.
So we're gonna go over his whole appearance. He's no longer—
Is potentially means like it could happen. I don't think that's true. I think potentially was not a good word to use there. I don't think he's gonna see a decade. That'd be crazy. I think anywhere from a year to 4 years, if even that. They might just use this whole process as the punishment and give him some kind of small punishment and then kick him the fuck out.
smiles and giggles, it seems. We'll look at the legal analysis of what went down in court the other day. Fellow commentary channel Atozy has also gone to the trial in person. That's a dedicated hater. I respect it.
Yeah, we reacted to
Johnny's
that one.
Best friend,
that was the last Johnny Somali reaction I did.
Hank, is also threatening to sue Legal Mindset and a bunch
Good
of
luck with
other
that.
people for defamation.
Good luck
Subscribe
with
or
that.
you end up like
Bro, what the fuck? This guy is an absolute moron.
Johnny Somali, an absolute disgrace to society, facing a decade in prison. Now, quick recap for the newcomers. Johnny is this pathetic loser IRL streamer who went to different countries and committed several crimes. Here is his list of charges. We got 4 obstruction of business counts, 2 minor offenses.
Yeah, he was surprised. I'm surprised that he didn't get disappeared by the Korean mafia, honestly. Like, he's lucky. He's lucky that didn't happen.
Act and 2 deepfake counts, and he did stuff like disrupting 7-Eleven, disrupting the bus system, disrupting rides, lots of harassment. Here we have the various penalties here, and we can already see he's pleaded guilty to 4 charges, and that's about to increase after this court appearance.
Yeah, and a couple of them that he pleaded not guilty to, it doesn't make any sense. He's pleading not guilty because they got some of the information that doesn't matter wrong. It is fucking stupid.
Anyways, let's begin with attorney Legal Mindset talking about the whole court appearance. First, he talks about Johnny coming to court.
Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, had a disastrous day in court today.
True.
Where pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong. Ramsey Somali was late by a few minutes.
Cinema.
Hank, when Ramsey's lawyer went to find him, so Hank—
yeah, he can't help but to be late. We called it. Everybody called it. We knew it was going to happen.
Went out to find him. Ramsey's lawyer went out to find him. Eventually, they did find him. When he came in, he was dressed in a suit. He had a nice buzz cut. You're going to see photos of him later, but he looked gaunt. He looked thin. He had deep circles around his eyes. It was described that his deep circles had circles. He also was resigned. He did not make faces. He didn't look around at the—
you gotta have circles on your circles.
Crowd. He didn't stick out his tongue like he did in previous engagements, previous court dates.
Now.
So he
probably knows how serious this is.
Had a huge attitude shift going forward into this date.
Wait, what's that? Johnny is no longer cocky. The absolute piece of shit has finally learned his lesson. I mean, yeah, this is kind of expected.
No, he didn't learn his lesson. Like, if he gets a slap on the wrist, he's gonna be right back doing the same shit. Also, he gets 10 years. When he gets out, he's gonna be right back doing the same shit. Because he's going to think that that's going to make him money and it's going to make him famous. And it's going to be right back to the slammer.
Once you're facing up to like 12 years in prison time, it sort of humbles you. And the same thing basically happened to Vitaly in the Philippines. If you
he's probably going to get released though.
Remember, he was very happy to troll, very happy to F around. And then we saw like within a matter of a month or something, he shrinked in half, like his physical mass shrinked in half, bro. I don't know if he like hopped off the steroids or they're not feeding him or whatever, but Filipino detainment is a different level. All right, now I don't know if Korea is going to be as bad, but prison is prison. It's not a pleasant experience. But honestly, is anybody actually shocked that Johnny was still late to court? Like, this is his life on the line, his entire youth, right? This is like a decade of his life. Very important to actually show up on time, you know, show the judge some respect, show the court some respect, and he can't even do this. Then he talks about Johnny's best buddy Hank here, and basically this guy has been literally like nurturing and feeding Johnny as he's broke in Korea here.
Did Hank lie? Now, Hank, in an interview recently with K-Town Social Club, said that Ramsey is no longer living with him, and Ramsey gave Hank's address in court. So either Hank was lying on that interview, or it's contempt of court. It's contempt of court. That's an additional crime that he's committing there. Or Hank is lying. I'm not.
Dude, what? How can you not get that straight? What the fuck? What?
Going to say which way it is. You guys can kind of make up your mind. Most people seem to think it's probably a lie to throw them off the trail.
You know what I bet is happening? I bet that Johnny Somali probably isn't technically living with him. He might be staying with a bunch of people. He might be like couch surfing or something. You know, I don't know this, but it could be a possibility. And that could be why Hank was like, no, he's not living here. But he has to have an actual address. So he gives Hank's address. Because that's the address that he has. That's the one that he knows. You know, I don't know. You never know. That sounds right to me.
But who knows? We don't really know. Hank also appeared to be distancing himself from Somali in a recent interview, but he sat in the front row. He went to find Ramsey, and he escorted him home with the lawyer in a cab. So he essentially was right there winging him the entire time.
You know, Hank might actually be the second saddest man alive apart from Johnny. This guy literally imploded his entire life and his relationship with his own family just for Johnny Somali. And I just can't wrap that around my head. Like, I would understand if they're like lovers maybe, or like, I don't know, I'm making speculation here because like, why the fuck would you do that? Is he your like long lost cousin or some shit?
I think he's retarded and doesn't have very many friends. And he probably has known Johnny Somali for a long time.
I have no idea why he's decided to take on this protege or whatever. I mean, why would you throw away your life for an abnormal Titan from Attack on Titan? You can't be serious, dog. Then he talks about Ramsey's lawyer, the absolute poor sucker who has to actually argue his case.
Ramsey's lawyer. Now, this is not to say he's incompetent or there's anything in terms of skill. Once again, as a lawyer, even if you're an amazing lawyer, you can be handed a bad case. The other thing that's going on here is if the client tells you to argue something, you kind of have to argue it, even if you don't want to. So if the client says, hey, I want to plead not guilty, but you don't really have any evidence, you don't have any backup, the argument really doesn't work, well, you have to go with that. And even a really good lawyer, even an amazing lawyer, can kind of be put in a bad place. And I kind of feel bad for Ramsey's attorney, because it's very clear that Johnny and his, fools on Discord, etc., are feeding these arguments in that just do not work in court. They're not Korean lawyers. They don't know Korean law.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks because it's going to go down on their record as a lawyer.
Johnny's not a Korean lawyer, but he's trying to force these arguments that just don't work in the Korean system. And it led to a lot.
Yeah, that not guilty plea because they got the time wrong for when he did a crime. He's like, oh, actually, no, I did the crime. Yes, but actually it was on the wrong day. Right here, it says it was on the wrong day, so not guilty. I'm not guilty for this crime because I did not do that on this day. And it's just like, what the fuck? That's seriously your argument?
Of losses today, loss after loss after loss. There was not a single win, even procedurally, even small victories.
The thing is, it is literally an impossible task for any lawyer to do because the case is so completely cooked. Like, there's no way to argue this in a way that you actually win. But I mean, he probably is still gonna get paid, so I'm not gonna harp on the lawyer too much. He's basically just doing his job here, right? And I find it funny that Johnny was actually so cocky. I guess some people were feeding him lies that basically, according to this law in the US or whatever the hell,
I can see, like, because this case is so big, so famous, that Johnny Somali's attorney is going to end up going on an interview talking about how ridiculous it was working with Johnny Somali. Oh, man. I hope that happens. That would be absolute cinema.
You might be okay. You might get off scot-free or here or whatever, but these arguments just don't work in the Korean legal system, which is an entirely different ball game, right? This is Asia, different laws, different practices, different rulings here. And
yeah, but I don't think that that even matters. You think Johnny Somali knows anything about how laws work in the United States either?
Most importantly, they don't fuck around. Like, they don't just let criminals free or whatever. There's much like harsher punishments here. If I had to guess, Johnny's probably asking his lawyer to pull off a miracle and make him walk free. And the lawyer is obviously saying that, no, we can, you know, probably try to reduce your charges as much as possible, but you're never going to go free. And that's probably causing the conflict there. So then he talks about Ramsey's lawyer performance.
So right off the bat, the first thing in the hearing was the judge asked Ramsey's lawyer for any specific evidence on the crimes Ramsey pled not guilty to. So specifically the deepfakes. We're talking about the deepfakes for which he pled not guilty. So the judge says, hey, what evidence do you have? And the lawyer was completely flustered by this. He could not answer. He said, hey, we submitted that to the court, so, you know, you should have that, right? But he couldn't, when pressed, give any of the information, any defense at all.
Yeah, because there
he couldn't
wasn't
remember
any
any specifics. That's not good. Now, what may have happened here is Johnny may have had this packet of information, perhaps the dossier prepared by his Discord, which was submitted to the judge or submitted to the court. However, didn't really memorize that, didn't really go through it. Maybe he's busy, maybe he didn't have time, maybe he didn't understand it. Who knows? We
or
don't know
maybe he
what's going
doesn't
on,
care.
But that was a very bad look and did not look good in court.
Oh my God, man. If it couldn't get worse, his own lawyer.
Yeah, who knows what's happening behind the scenes, man. I bet Johnny Somali's so hard to work with. He probably thinks he's smarter than the attorney.
Are just leaving him out to die.
He probably knows that the attorney knows more about law, but he probably thinks that he's a better strategist than the attorney.
Now, I feel like most lawyers would be prepared for something like this. Maybe a crazy conspiracy theory. Is this on purpose? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not.
I don't know, bro. How could you prepare for something like this?
I'm guessing that it is some form of incompetency on Ramsey's part that is poorly reflecting on the lawyer.
Yeah, I bet there's some like fighting behind the scenes.
Here, I imagine they
It's also
know what
could be why
know their
they're
shit,
late.
obviously. But anyways, after this, Ramsey's
the
lawyer
time.
tries to argue like the smaller points to get a win in court based on the, you know, little bit of filings of like this was late or whatever. So the prosecutor got pissed.
Ramsey's lawyer tried to complain about late notice and procedure, and he tried to kind of make it sound like the prosecution was doing something bad or untoward or unofficial or breaking the rules. And now the prosecutor, and I have been in this courtroom, I've seen the prosecutor.
Well, why would you do that? Why would you bring up how shit you think the prosecutor is gonna be? The person who prosecutes. What?
Prosecutor looks like a very nice, mild-mannered, calm guy. I watched him an entire day in court cases. I sat in another day and watched like 6-7 trials. This guy never was aggressive. He never got angry, was very calm and collected, very professional. But all the reports from the courtroom today, and I went over several after the stream, I asked several sources, I said, hey, was this what happened? And they said, yes. He aggressively countered Ramsey's lawyer in a way in which is not typical for a prosecutor to normally do. Pretty much Ramsey's lawyer was saying, hey, you're doing something wrong. And the prosecutor got up and said, oh, hell no. And excuse my language, or I'll put some in the swear jar, but said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All notice we gave was proper. Everything was legal. We followed the procedure. And the judge quickly stepped in and took the side of the prosecutor, not Ramsey's lawyer, overruled Ramsey's lawyer and said verbatim, this is not an issue, move on. So absolute procedural L, massive procedural L for Ramsey's lawyer.
Man, oh man. I mean,
yeah, you're trying to win against the court on a technicality. No, the court wins against you on technicalities. You don't get wins on technicalities against the court. That ain't how that works.
Getting owned on stream is one thing. Getting owned in court is a different level of cinema. I mean, we've waited for this for about a year now, and it is finally happening. Ramsey is finally getting cooked in court. And I just love how the prosecution is not taking any shit. They are countering everything like a fucking Wobbuffet from Pokemon. Also, the judge siding with prosecution here, obviously not looking very good for old Ramsey. Right, so remember how we saw that list of charges for Ramsey, right? Well, apparently Ramsey has pleaded guilty to the new obstruction charge as well, and basically everything is coming out to be guilty, which is just not looking good because these charges stack on each other and leads to an even longer prison sentence.
Going beyond that, there was the new charge.
Dude.
The charge
it really ain't looking good.
The additional obstruction.
I still don't see him getting 10 years, but you know, you never know.
That's the,
Never
once
know.
again, the fourth charge, the fourth obstruction charge.
Yeah, this is going way worse than I predicted.
That was coming up. It was revealed that this conduct, this new charge, was for conduct on 2 Seoul buses on September 27, 2024. Now, this was for, they stated stuff like playing loud music in TTS and playing North Korean propaganda. Now, mind you, he is not charged under the terrorism statute, under the terrorism
Playing North Korean propaganda is a fucking insane one.
law. He's still charged under obstruction of business. So it doesn't change the nature and make him guilty of terrorism. However, it does conclude that they were factoring in the fact that he was playing North Korean propaganda. They know, and they were listening to that. It says that disturbed the passengers, it disrupted operations, and ultimately for a obstruction of business, if you disturb normal operations of business, you are guilty. So therefore, Ramsey knew he was dead to rights on this and pled guilty to this new obstruction charge. So once again, another guilty on the bucket.
Holy shit, dude. The charges keep stacking like a fucking fighting game multiplier. Times 2, times 3. Oh my god, bro. But honestly, in my humble opinion, this lobotomized freak here is not going to last a single year in prison. You think Ramsey, this person who has absolutely no discipline, no level of, ability to follow rules at all.
Well, here's the problem with the not being able to last 1 year in prison. If he gets more than a year, he's going to have to last. He's going to be forced to last. Because there ain't leaving. There ain't no leaving. Unless he dies. Which I hope doesn't happen. I really don't want him to go to prison either, but at this point, it seems like that's what's got to happen to make this guy change. If it even work. He'll probably come out of prison doing the same shit.
Is going to last in prison. He's probably going to end up causing a ruckus in there and making it worse for himself. Now, I find it funny that Legal Mindset mentioned the terrorism charge. I feel like the terrorist propaganda charge is definitely reserved for the old Hamas piker, of course. And don't worry, the day is coming, all right? It might take way longer than Johnny here, considering this guy just sits in his fucking multi-million-dollar mansion. But I feel like...
Dude, I had somebody in my comments yesterday saying, like, where have you heard that Hassan Piker is a terrorist supporter? Where did Hassan Piker ever say he supports terrorism? It's just like, what? Like, bro, where have you been?
Eventually, this guy's gonna slip up, go outside, commit a crime, and get arrested. And that day, we will be sipping on the ice-cold orange juice, of course. Right, so then he talks about a switch-up in his plea in regards to the Lotte World charge. Now, the Lotte World or whatever is a theme park in South Korea, and Ramsey had some shenanigans there as well.
So previously, Ramsey had pled not guilty to the Lotte World charge. That is going into Lotte World, causing a scene, disrupting the ride, causing the ride to close. So we had a huge surprise today. We thought the witness for today was going to be Bong Bong. Everybody thought that, myself included. And you know what? I was wrong. Look at that. I'm admitting I was wrong here. It was actually the witness that was a staff woman from Lotte World who repeatedly told Ramsey not to film. She was actually quite disturbed by the fact that he would not stop filming. And you could see that in the video, in the original video. Yeah. And Ramsey changed his plea to guilty on the Lotte World charge. He may have been gambling that the Lotte World witness would no-show and saying, okay, if the witness no-shows, then okay, we can go in not guilty because she's going to no-show and not be there. However, she showed up and was highly motivated to be there.
Yeah, highly motivated.
6 confirmed guilty charges. Oof. And there's at least one that's going to be flipped back to guilty.
It's diabolical. Oh my god. This guy has professional haters, bro. Oh my god. Like, highly motivated. Like, we got people flying in just to see this guy in court, bro. Amazing. I mean, this was just a pathetic attempt to escape.
To be fair, Atozy is getting paid to fly in. To go to court.
A charge, and I'm so glad that it did not work, that he tried to fucking plead not guilty and hope that the witness doesn't show up or whatever. It was like a last-ditch effort or whatever, and completely backfired because of the dedicated haters. Shout out to all the dedicated haters of Ramsey here. Woo! Absolute cinema.
That's
right,
us.
so remember at the start how we pleaded guilty to 4 charges? Well, now
I'm more like a humiliator. Because I just laugh at the retards.
With 6.
He now
hate
has
the retards.
6, count it, 6 confirmed guilty charges, 4 obstruction of business and 2 minor crimes act. So he is a confirmed repeat offender, repeat criminal with all of these. And once again, each charge stacks up the amount of time he can be in jail.
Yep. Which is being considered a crime spree.
point, the maximum is 12 years. However, even the default, even the standard punishment would be over 4 years in jail. Even if they don't give him the aggravated maximum of 12 years, the standard, the non.
Yeah, he might get 4. Damn. I might have been right the like 5th time.
Aggravated is 4 years and some change in terms of months. So even not counting the deepfakes, this is definitive guess right now. Prediction, 6 years. I'm gonna predict 6 years is gonna be the sentence, and then he'll serve 3. That's gonna be my prediction. Very, very serious.
No way. This is without the deepfakes. Max 12 years and minimum 4. Like the default is 4. This guy is so fucked. Bro is not gonna get past 1 year. He's gonna crumble like a fucking cookie in there. Now, I don't know the conditions of prison in South Korea or whatever. I don't imagine it's as bad as the Philippines or Vitaly. That place is a different level of hell, all right? So you don't commit crimes there or whatever. But prison is prison. It's not gonna be pleasant. It's gonna be pretty fucking bad. And the worst part is the time. Like a decade. Johnny's a young guy. This isn't like a 60-year-old fucking dude. Even then, it's obviously pretty bad. But this is your youth. Like the best years of your life. You have thrown it all away.
Yeah, you're gonna go in like basically a kid, and you're gonna come out basically like the start of an old man. You're gonna be in your 30s, bro. The fuck? Going in your 20s, you're getting out in your 30s.
For a little bit of fucking clout on the internet, dude. Honestly, let this be a lesson to any like upcoming streamers as well. If you want to try to harass innocent people for your viral clips or whatever, this is how you're gonna end up, all right? In prison, getting absolutely toasted by the internet, becoming a laughingstock of the internet, and yeah, your life is completely cooked.
World's
so then
biggest
he talks
lol
about
cow.
the charges sheet and he updates it.
4 guilty for the obstruction of business. Guilty on the Minor Crimes Act, and not guilty on the deepfake. These are his pleas. Of course, he's going to have to fight this at the next trial, and I do believe there's sufficient evidence to find him guilty on the deepfake counts. We're going to talk about.
Oh wait, where's the one that he pleaded not guilty to? I guess that's the one that got flipped back to guilty.
That next. Kind of got 2 obstructions for the bus. One for Lotte World and one for 7-Eleven. This is not just about a cup of noodles, folks. This is much.
It might have been the disrupting the bus. Might have been flipped.
Much more than a cup of noodles. The deepfake was a disaster for Johnny's defense. They pretty much confessed. Let's talk about this.
Oh,
so Ramsey's lawyer argued that Ramsey doesn't know how to make a deepfake, that he is incompetent to make a deepfake, which, look, we all know.
The charge isn't manufacturing a deepfake, it's distribution. What? Distribution does not include you making it. That's just you distributing it. That's you sending it out. That's all that is.
Oh, that's BS. It takes 2 seconds to make a deepfake. There's AI, there's other mechanisms. Anybody can make a deepfake, and Ramsey is certainly capable of it. But beyond that, that's what the lawyer said makes him innocent. The lawyer said he didn't make it, so because he didn't make it, he's innocent. But the prosecutor immediately countered, once again, getting up there, getting in their face. Great job by the prosecution, amazing performance. Said, so you deny making the deepfake, but you admit, you confess to distributing, which is publishing the deepfake.
Absolute goated.
Dude, this is all set up like a child wrote a play, like a theater play about a guy in court. And it's just ridiculous shit. And it's like, well, he was drunk. Just like, what kind of defense is that?
Prosecution right there totally got him on that one. Obviously, publishing and distributing is still a crime there. Yes, truth is, yes, anyone can make a deepfake. Ramsey apparently did not have the intellectual capacity to click 2 buttons,
no shit.
but he was stupid enough to still fucking, publish this and stream it. And I feel like even if he pretends like, hey, I didn't know the rules or whatever, this is like a common sense thing. Obviously, you cannot be streaming that material to thousands of people or whatever. The main reason being that it is still harming the individual by...
And like, just, even if it's not, you're doing it in a malicious way. Just like, come on. Just be better. Just be better. Even if that wasn't a bannable offense, a chargeable offense, just be better. Don't be a fucking prick.
spreading that material, obviously. And I think that anybody with a shred of common sense should have known that. And Ramsey absolutely
Or a shred of decency.
deserves this charge. Like, there's no fucking sympathy for you. Right, so
Yeah.
this next part, we look at Ramsey's lawyer's defense.
Be a
And
decent
it was
fucking
so
human
bad. He
being.
says he is drunk. Okay, I am drunk, so therefore I streamed and published deep fakes on the internet? I mean,
That
how
makes
many
it
times,
worse.
how many cases have we heard the I'm drunk excuse? It's not gonna work.
Ramsey's lawyer said, well, he was drunk. He admits distribution, but denies production. Being drunk or high or whatever is not a defense. It's did you do it or not? There's no state of mind involved here. So being drunk is not at all going to mitigate this or make this better or make him not guilty. That is not going to work at all. But the bombshell admission is the admission of guilt as to production. It's not relevant. The only thing that's relevant is that Ramsey distributed or published it, meaning whether or not Ramsey made it is irrelevant.
Yeah, their argument was fucking stupid. Like, what are they talking about?
Just to prove that, let's look at the statute. 3 here says a person who commits a crime under paragraph 2 by means and information of communication networks against the will of the subject, Bong Bong and Jungman, and making profits, he was streaming and making money, shall be punished by imprisonment with labor for not more than 7 years. Does it say a person who...
Ooh, imprisonment with labor. Like, he ain't just sitting in a box, he's gonna be working.
who makes a deep fake? No, it actually doesn't say that, although it does have in another statute in number 1, a person who edits it, synthesizer process. But number 2, it says a person who has published. The only thing that's important to the crime is that he put it on screen. And because he has now confessed, he put it on screen. In the eyes of the judge and the prosecutor, it's done. It's a shut case. It's over, baby.
Ah, he said it. He said it. It's over.
Yeah.
It's...
And I'm pretty sure, by the way, I'm pretty sure they actually don't care about deepfakes if they're non-malicious. And if they're not being presented as real. I'm pretty sure they don't give a shit.
done. Ladies and gentlemen, never accuse me of clickbait ever again. It's a future prediction. What have I been saying? Johnny Somali, Ramsey Ismail, or whatever the fuck his name is cooked. He's done. It's over. In court, legally, by a lawyer, by a judge. It is official.
Yep.
I mean, it really seems
He's
like
so
Ramsey's
fucked,
lawyer
man.
is trying to pinch pennies here and basically trying to form an argument out of absolutely nothing. And I don't really blame him. Like, he's just sort of doing his job here. It just sounds a bit ridiculous because he has nothing to go off of. He has to come up with some absolutely random shit like, oh, he was drunk. Well, I guess that is the excuse, right? And obviously, it's not going to work. You know, I still respect the hustle by the lawyer. Do not respect Johnny, though. It's also very clear from the...
Yeah, I think that lawyer knows. He's just gonna like, man, like, what? This is the most likely thing to work, and it's not gonna fucking work.
article right there that
It
publishing
sucks.
is also a crime, so there's no real wiggle room there
Yeah.
that I didn't make the deep fakes, therefore it's not a crime or whatever. It's just sort of those common sense
It was kind of just like you're being charged with distributing the deepfake, and he's like, okay, all right, as long as I'm not getting charged with processing it, because I didn't make it. Okay, you can charge me with distribution. Just don't look into the who made it aspect, and it'd be fucking hilarious that they find out he did make it.
things that anybody with a functioning brain and a little bit of empathy would know that, hey, this is probably a crime, right? And it was after this
Yeah, well, he's not in his 30s yet. He's not gonna learn empathy until he's at least 32. He's at 31 or 32, somewhere around there. And he's gonna probably be in prison during that time. So he's gonna learn empathy in prison, hopefully.
apparently Ramsey's lawyers were trying to prevent allowing the deepfake witnesses.
So Ramsey's lawyer was fighting tooth and nail not to allow the deepfake witnesses. He did not want those deepfake witnesses to come in. That would have been disastrous for him in his mind. Well, the prosecution argued that since Ramsey admits distribution but denies production, the witnesses have to be allowed. They must be allowed for arguing back about the production. The judge sided immediately with the prosecution and allowed the witnesses. Said, no. Now Ramsey's lawyer said, okay, I want extended cross-examination. Instead of the standard 15-minute cross-examination of each witness, I want 25 minutes. The judge denied Ramsey's request. Guys, this is massive. In Korean procedure, in discussing this with lawyers and people experienced with the process, this almost never happens. Typically, if they request this, they give it. This is the judge telling Ramsey to cope and seethe. It's saying, we don't think your defense has enough. It's not worth it to give you 25 minutes. It's not going to prove anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, it's just like, you've wasted so many time. You've wasted so much time, Mr. Ishmael. No thanks. You're not going to be wasting any more time. We're not going to give you that extra 10 minutes.
You're telling me they got bitched in court, right? That's basically, I mean, that's like the translation of what he...
Yeah, that's what you get for being an absolute fucking moron in court previously and being late all the time.
Said there. So they didn't even grant you an extra 10 minutes, dog. Ain't no way. That's how bad your argument actually was. That's how cooked.
He couldn't show up an extra 10 minutes early to show up to court on time. So like, yep, that's what he gets.
Johnny Somali actually is. They didn't give him an extra 10 minutes to actually argue his case
because he disrespected
they
the
just
court.
want to get it over with as soon as possible. They know that whatever they hear is going to be a bunch of bullshit. Shit like, well, he was actually drunk. That's why he, posted the deepfakes or whatever. So, oh my God, I'm just like giddy with excitement here, seeing the scumbag, another scumbag, getting put in prison. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a good day. It's a good day. Anyways, apparently Ramsey has a new look now, and he was spotted trying to leave court. And usually he tries to talk to the
like
media and
Black.
troll around a bunch, but this time dead quiet, trying to escape, running away from the guy trying to film him as well. He's just trying to get in his car, get the hell out of there, and he's very somber, very serious, very uncharacteristic of old Johnny Somali here.
We had a little action outside the court. Here's Ramsey leaving the court with his buzz cut, his new buzz cut, the suit. You see him there with Hank there. Definitely a different look today. So Ramsey quickly left with Hank and his lawyer. They did not interact with media or streamers. I
wonder if Hank's family was like, hey, you're going to take this seriously. You're going to wear a suit and do all this the right way, or we're going to stop paying for this shit. I wonder if that happened. I wonder if they told Hank that they're not going to pay for his life anymore if he's going to be paying for Johnny Somali, and that's why Hank said that Johnny Somali isn't living with him. I wonder why. I wonder what's going on here.
Quoted a Kick streamer, Paul Risen, who attempted to interview them, and the streamer appeared to be anti-Somali generally, so maybe Somali knew that. But what I'm saying is he wasn't interacting. In the past, he was cursing at people, he was taking interviews, he was saying stuff, and he was smiling, smirking. Now he quickly ran to get in the cab. He wants nothing to do with the media. It reflects that I think he realizes this is serious, and he's about to find out.
Yeah, I bet a bunch of the people that were helping him were like, hey, you need to fucking sit down and shut up and just do what you're supposed to do, because you're costing us money.
Realized this was absolutely a massive loss for him today.
Wow, interesting. Cat got your tongue, Johnny? Wow, I can't believe it. You're so quiet. You were talking so much shit, though. What happened now, buddy?
Cash.
Dude, this guy has been talking so much shit for a literal year now. Like, oh, I'm never gonna get arrested. I'm never gonna get any charges. So unbelievably smug. He was so convinced. I don't know who was filling his head with lies, or was it his own like
demons,
narcissism or whatever, telling him that, hey, I'm gonna get away with this completely scot-free.
It was demons.
And now what happened?
Bro's
and now
got
what
demons.
happened, buddy? You're just very quiet now. It's interesting. It's interesting. Brother,
he let the demons take over. Now he's gonna have to do time in prison.
Scuttling like a scuttle crab from League of Legends. You know that fat piece of shit? He's out here trying to hide from the media when before he would literally give off his right thumb, give off his left toe to make sure he's in front of a camera and everybody can capture him and see what he's saying and go viral for all of these stunts or whatever, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the internet slogan of fuck around and find out remains true. It rings true. It is amazing. It's actually happening. It's been proven once again. Right, so here's what people are saying. His defense is basically, I am very guilty, but not super duper guilty. In Asia, there's a saying.
Yeah, and they're not even saying that he's super duper guilty. They're just like, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we're not saying that you're super duper guilty. We're just saying that you're regular guilty. And they're like, well, okay, just so you know, he was drunk. It's like, yeah, okay, all right, we get it. Like, let's get this over with. Stop wasting time.
What your parents don't teach you, society will. Very true. Your Honor, I did distribute the drugs, but I'm not guilty because I didn't make them. Also, I was drunk. Is that seriously the defense?
Yes.
That's basically what it is. I feel so bad for that lawyer, bro. Imagine having to argue this case. Mad respect to Ramsey's lawyer for intentionally tanking this case. The sacrifice of his career will not be forgotten. Moving on to fellow commentary YouTuber Atozy, actually flying and going to court. The professional hater.
Okay, so we just got out of Johnny Somali's third court day here in the beautiful yet rainy Seoul, South Korea. And it's safe to say, last time things went terrible for him. Today, things went awful. And honestly, kind of embarrassing because a lot of the stuff they did not make sense whatsoever. Clearly, he was way more locked in. He realized how much he screwed up now, it seems like, and he's realizing, uh-oh, I might be stuck in prison for a long time. So today, at least he was very serious. So, currently he's facing 8 counts, or 8 charges, and 4 of which are obstruction of businesses.
For now.
2 of which are misdemeanors. He pled guilty.
Like, I could see them adding even more charges.
To all 6 of those charges. So currently, the legal analysts I've been talking to, they're expecting a 5 to 8 year sentence for him from all this. So that's definitely going to be very interesting to see how all this pans out.
Dude, shout out to the homie Atozy right there. Legendary hater right there. Bro literally flew to court, bro. That's absolute cinema. I'm obviously kidding. He's a super chill guy. He's covered Johnny Somali very well. If you want to...
Yeah, I've been watching Atozy for years, man.
Get a quick recap of everything. Go through his like list of videos, everything. If you're on the Hassan series here, Johnny Somali there. Yeah, great job with him. Absolute GOAT. Now moving on to Hank, the absolute clown here, trying to sue Legal Mindset and a bunch of other people for defamation.
So you admit that Legal Mindset, that guy has the right to say everything he says, but you see an opportunity to try and get some money, so you're like, fuck it, you know, I need money or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, that guy's not pro free speech, so
that guy's not pro free speech. That guy's not pro free speech. I am extremely pro free speech. Anybody who knows me or watched my channel for 2 seconds knows I'm pro free speech. That is insane. What I am not is pro criminality. And me covering criminality and legal issues on the internet is 100% free speech. Anybody who has a problem with that is anti-free speech.
Dude, what is wrong with these people? Legitimately cannot take any criticism at all, and now they want to sue. Like, you're talking about defamation when we're literally just talking about...
Yeah, his brains leaked out of the pores on his face.
What you were saying in the clips, you know, you and Johnny Somali are doing, this isn't defamation to literally point out that you're committing crimes here. You know that saying, don't do the crime if you can't do the time? Well, don't talk shit if you can't get talk shit back.
If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I know where you're going with this.
That's a Pegasus quote right there. Jesus Christ, I completely butchered that. But you get the point. Anyways, then he talks about all the people he wants to sue.
That he wants to sue several people. He wants to sue Atozy, me, 15 Minutes, the Korean streamers. And while the Korean streamers are a little bit of a different case because they're in Korea and Korean law will clearly apply, they'll be more easy to serve, etc. For Atozy, myself, 15 Minutes, a lot of the other people have been covering this. You know, he wants to sue Asmongold or whatever else. Anybody who's covered this on the internet.
Good luck with that.
It's going to be very, very difficult. We're going to talk about those challenges. But when he talked about defamation, and once again, I've got the full clip in my life, he admits his pure motivation is money. It's just money.
Dude,
it's not.
He's so fucking retarded because, like, you admitted it. And that's just evidence for people to use against you in court if you try and sue them.
Actually, he feels bad about it. He laughs about it. He thinks it's a joke. He actually isn't deeply hurt about this at all.
Gonna happen.
At the end of the day, he's going to have a hard time collecting from anybody, myself included. And I can say he's not going to get a single won, baht, or US dollar off of me. It's going to be very difficult for that.
No way. No way bro thought that was a legitimate strategy. Hey, I need money.
I don't think he did. I think he was just talking shit on a podcast.
So I'm going to sue these people. Bro obviously has no idea about how the court system works at all.
No, he don't.
You ain't doing
He don't have any idea how any system works ever anywhere.
Shit. Your legacy will be Johnny Somali's fat friend, I guess, or lover. I can't really tell at this point, but you're a side character, bro. Pipe down. Then Legal Mindset talks about just how bad his chances are.
So here's the thing. There's something called standing. That's the ability to bring a claim. He's going to have a real big issue in multiple jurisdictions with standing. It's very odd because he may not even have standing to bring a claim in the United States. The only place he clearly can sue is South Korea. But let's just use myself as an example. While I used to live in South Korea, I no longer reside in South Korea. Therefore, suing in South Korea would be entirely inappropriate because, well, they wouldn't even be able to serve me with process because I'm not in South Korea.
Dude, this guy has like no idea how hard international lawsuits even are. He definitely does not even have the funds to launch such a lawsuit. So it's so completely obviously a empty threat. It seems like he's just trying to intimidate people. And this is a common thing on the internet where basically people will, you know, say that I'm going to sue you or something like that in order to, you know, scare you, give you cold feet into talking about them in the future. But this guy is so unintimidating. Holy shit. I don't think he could scare a fucking cat. And if it wasn't obvious, no, we're not.
Sue me, sue me.
Not gonna stop talking about you. You can try to sue. It's not gonna work. You're gonna get cooked just
Yeah, you're just gonna get laughed at and humiliated.
like your pal Johnny. So I wouldn't recommend. You're also going to go broke, more broke than you already are, which is negative, probably in debt or something. So yeah, probably pipe down there. Then Legal Mindset talks about the anti-slap laws.
The other thing is most of the streamers, let's use Atozy in 15 minutes, for example, they're in the United States. And we have something called anti-slap. Now, Hank claims to know about free speech, but I'm going to educate him on free speech as it's applied in law. The anti-slap or laws against strategic lawsuits against public participation, that is lawsuits just to shut people up, even though they're actually speaking facts, those are so intimately tied to free speech. They were adopted on free speech basis. You can't use lawsuits to shut people up from talking to you, from talking about you, particularly from talking about you about truthful things. And not only that, but
which, by the way, particularly when you're talking about truthful things, also includes false things. You can say false things about people.
Hank is a public figure. He's now
You just can't like distribute that information to the masses.
Now gone on multiple interviews. He's got YouTube channels. He's involved with Johnny Somali. He is a public figure, so he is held to a higher standard under New York Times versus Sullivan. Therefore, all these anti-slap protections would essentially prevent him from even going to court. It wouldn't even get to a motion to dismiss.
Oh wow, so I thought he had about like a 0% chance. Turns out he has like a -5% chance. Jesus Christ, bro. Oh my god. Bro can't even cross the first barrier. How the hell are you gonna sue anyone, buddy? He really needs to watch himself because it's not like they're short on prisons there or anything. They definitely got room for you there as well. And you keep associating with Johnny Somali, trying to aid and abet him in his crimes as well. I feel like if you keep doing that, you're gonna go to prison too, buddy. Then he talks about the ultimate own. Apparently this guy's reputation is so bad, he cannot even be defamed.
You're going to need damages. What money did he lose? He wasn't making any money. His family, mom, whatever, was giving him money regardless. So he didn't have anything that was lost because of that.
Yep, he's
and
cooked all
further,
around.
you actually have to have a good reputation, or at least a neutral reputation, in order to be damaged. But at this point, it's very clear.
Yeah, and all these people talking bad about me online for all these things that I'm doing and all these things that I've done in my connection to my friend Johnny Somali. No, it wasn't my connection to Johnny Somali doing all of these things that ruined my reputation. No, it was these people talking about me.
And speaking to people in Korea, Korean lawyers, if you have a bad reputation, there's no reputation to be damaged. Even in Korea, that would be thrown out because of his own reputation. And at the end of the day, nobody, myself included, Atozy, anybody else, has been served with a lawsuit by Hank. So there's no lawsuit in existence.
Right, so you're telling me bro is so broke he had no income to even damage? Bro's reputation was so bad you couldn't even ruin it any further? Therefore, the lawsuit will not even work? This hypothetical lawsuit, which is never gonna happen, by the way. Brother, this is so embarrassing. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's just talking shit
so
online.
Over for them. Johnny and his whole squad, which is just him and this guy, basically. They're just cooked. They're just cooked, man. Johnny, I can't wait for the day this guy's in prison. Unfortunately, it's gonna take a while. He has another trial on October 29.
What do you mean, unfortunately? That just means more content for us. Absolute Cinema's diabolical series continues.
So we will be covering that then. Now click this video or you become Johnny Somali's cellmate. Thank you for watching.
No, I almost wooed at that. And then he was like, Johnny Somali's cellmate. No. Like, comment, subscribe. Johnny Somali's fucked. Holy shit. This situation is just gonna get so much worse. So much worse. He's got more trial to come.